The concept of Gemini Man with the two characters played by one person across generations, the technology didn't exist really until today to be able to deliver this in a timely and financially expedient way. So it's really the first time that the vision of the film was technologically able to be realized. The contact with a version of your younger self. And as I discovered when I started playing it the other way, the converse, the contact with the version of your older self. It's intriguing, it's scary. I've heard people ask a lot of times, if you could go back to your younger self and give yourself some advice, what would it be? And Gemini Man actually creeps into that experience. It brings up existential questions about how to live a life. Really, what is the quality of advice you would give to someone? Because you had one experience, they had another experience, and even being genetically identical, you don't have the same experiences. It's a different time. So it's just it's part of why I love science fiction. My physical body is not being used. It is a 100% computer-generated 23-year-old photorealistic version of myself. To be free to find the thoughts of the 23-year-old version of myself. It was interesting because people generally think of the wisdom of age as being more powerful. But as I was looking and as I was playing these characters, there's a certain power to naivete. There's a serious power to not knowing you can't do something. And I really bumped into that in playing these characters, the deficiencies of both and the strengths of both was an interesting exploration. I finally answered the question for myself in exploring both of these characters' minds, and I wouldn't tell him anything. I wouldn't tell him not a single thing. The 25-year-old version of myself was so hard-headed, right? So he wasn't going to hear anything I had to say anyway. But the 25-year-old version of myself, he had a couple of really solid ideas that ultimately would never make him happy, but they were on the right track. So I would leave him alone. It's definitely going to change how movies are made and how movies are seen. Aang is really pushing the limits of how people consume this type of entertainment. He's pushing really hard to give people an experience in the movie theater that you can't get anywhere else. Aang is completely and almost exclusively focused on the human experience. So everything in the technology and everything in the creation of the characters in the movies, he has an opinion about the human experience that he is trying to share. And as he uses technology to try to augment the ideas, he's only trying to figure out how the specific use of that technology has a corresponding vibration in the human soul. I play Henry Brogan. Henry Brogan is a DIA agent. He is essentially a spy hitman. And so he's an agent, and he comes to the end of a long career, and he's done a lot of things that he is not happy about, and he wants out. And he retires from the agency, and they send someone to kill him. So in trying to figure out what's going on and why they would send someone to kill him, they find out that 25 years ago, they cloned him, and they created an identical version of him that is just 25 years old. So they sent his 25-year-old self to kill him. The technology in this case is a part of what creates the authenticity. People have played younger characters in the movie where you make the hair all gray and you make the person older, and then you make them younger, and that is an interesting approach, and acting-wise, it's spectacular to be able to do that, but this technology allows you to see something that is shocking and jarring and beautiful and technologically exquisite. It was definitely a benefit being a more experienced actor. I couldn't have done it the other way. So I couldn't have done at 23 years old, that they were going to create the 50-year-old version of me with this technology. That would have been a mess. But this way, I was able to understand and capture both characters because of the amount of experience that I've had as an actor. A big part of what is so special about this movie is, at the center of it is, of course, the technology, where you can take someone and you can have a 50-year-old version and a 23-year-old version of them interact in a scene, and it's photorealistic, right? So I think the technology-wise, that's great. But we shot in Savannah, we shot in Colombia, we went to Budapest, so it's the visual of it, and then the action is ridiculous. Aang's approach to the action is he wanted everything to happen in single shots. So he has these really long shots with spectacular action happening, and I just think the way that it looks and the way that it feels and the way it blends with the emotionality, I think it's going to be a visual spectacle, and I think it also will penetrate people in an emotional way that they're maybe not expecting.
Hey there, it's Lisa with some cool action movie trivia. In the scene where Will Smith is dragging an unconscious alien across the desert in Independence Day, his famous line, "And what the hell is that smell?" was unscripted. He was actually complaining about the smell of rotting shrimp coming from the Great Salt Lake of Utah that they were shooting near. Now remember to click here below to subscribe, or on the side for more great content.